Philosophy is a weird way to approach questions that science can't answer. What if I told you the very life you're living right now is a simulation? This might seem as a skeptical or extreme scenario, but this is actually a thought popularized by philosopher Hillary Putnam, in his book Reason, Truth, and History in 1981. However, this proposal was theorized back in the 17th century in one of René Descartes' meditations. While in an oven, he thought that the whole concept of reality, sky, water, air, earth, color, shapes, and sounds are just illusions created by an evil genie to mess with one. Going forward to Hillary Putnam, his thought experiment goes this way. A mad scientist extracts the brain of a person. He puts it in a vat with the necessary nutrients for it to survive, and the nerve endings are attached to a supercomputer capable of replicating reality. Basically, everything that composes reality becomes false. Now, instead of an evil genie, it's a mad scientist toying with you. The problem with this thought experiment is that it is probable that we aren't brains in vats, but however, we cannot be sure that we aren't. The philosophical question proposed is reality what we know, or are we just brains in vats? There have been many different approaches to this thought experiment. As previously mentioned, Descartes thought of this as an evil genie toying with one. Then Hillary Putnam thought of it as a mad scientist with a computer toying with one. You may be familiarized to this thought with the popular movie Matrix, 1999. This is a movie in which a hacker that questions his reality is then awakened to the real world, in which machines have overtaken humanity and captured them for their body heat, and then imprison their minds in artificial reality. Neo, the protagonist, must then fight off this artificial reality to free humanity. The problem of not having the certainty that we are in brains in a vat receiving stimuli creates a possible paradox in which we are already in an artificial simulation. This approach was considered by philosopher Nick Bostrom. Consider this. It is probable that in the future, our civilizations reaches very high technological developments, that it is possible to simulate reality in human minds. A simple computer can simulate thousands of minds. Simulated minds and biological minds become increasingly difficult to differentiate. Naturally, we question this as future. But what guarantees us that this future hasn't already been reached, and that we aren't simulated minds? One can argue that we are thinking of it self-aware. But what if the program simulating our minds is just that efficient? This paradox of questioning and assuming reality either as a simulation or a trick is called skepticism. Rationalism, on the other way, is trying to reach a certain truth that cannot be questioned. René Descartes reached this through reason and methodic doubt through the use of absolute and certain ideas. They go this way. Nothing cannot become something. Imperfection cannot create perfection. Perfection is a status not reached by imperfect humans. But the concept of God fits. If God is perfect, then it exists because perfection exists. If God exists and God is good, then God must not be tricking our reality. Therefore, reality is real. However, this only counters the genie argument, not the mad scientist one, since a mad scientist is indeed not perfect and not good. There is still not a sure way out of this brain in a vat thought experiment. David Eagleman, a neurologist, states that the brain doesn't see, hear, or touch. It just receives info from sensors and interprets it through electrical signals. What can assure us that a machine cannot do the same to us? Thank you for watching.